What y'all? I mean, anything that they're in the boss, though.
Press the button to begin.
Hello everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to my weekly podcast. Hope everyone is staying safe during coronavirus times. And we're doing our 11th album review. We took a indefinite break. This review was actually supposed to come out last year. Can you believe it? It's supposed to come out last year. But we're still gonna finish. We're actually finishing the show. This is the last episode of the podcast. And and I hope you guys got to listen to the last podcast, which was the Rosalia El Mal Querer album review. And today we are back with another video podcast. Apologies for the lateness, like I said. But it's gonna be awesome. I have a guest again. The guest, you probably have seen her before on the Daniel Caesar album review. Nomonde Jele, the music lover, involved in quite a few things with music, and quite a fan of the artist that we're reviewing today. I think I sort of forgot she's a fan, but then, when I started, listening to her, I was like, no, Nomonde's she keeps talking about Gorillaz all the time. So I was like, okay, so I'm listening to this album, and so I already name dropped the artist. The artist is Gorillaz, and the album is Humanz. We're sort of reviewing the Deluxe edition. A very interesting album. Multi-Grammy nominated, did quite well commercially. Many consider this album to be the album that, like, people said Gorillaz came back, because I think some people thought they were I don't know, they sort of lost themselves a little bit. I don't follow Gorillaz as much as Nomonde does. I think she will probably have a better answer, but it's a really exciting album. So firstly, what I want to ask you is, how much of a fan are you of Gorillaz, and what do you think is the current state of Gorillaz music?
So first of all, I really had no idea that this was the last episode, and I'm really excited because yay me, I feel so special. I feel so special to be doing this. Oh my gosh, what a pleasant surprise. I mean, it's a little bittersweet that this is the last episode, but how fun. I love the Gorillas, but it's strange how, like, there are some people or some artists rather whose discography, like, I completely immerse myself in. With Gorillas, I didn't really do that. Like, I listened to them a lot as a child, and I think that's why I love them so much. And should a song come up, I try not to overindulge, because I kind of feel like it's a sacred, special thing to me, if that makes sense. But I've always felt like their music is amazing, and that's why I think this review might go the same way the last one did, because of how I felt about Daniel Caesar and how I feel about Daniel Caesar. It's very difficult to be objective. It's really very difficult to be objective. You grow up with something, like it's very tough to be like, these people have fallen off. And for some people they're able to, but I don't feel like that.
But how much do you still listen to their music, like, quite often?
I do, yeah.
Like their new songs?
I think I actually need to let go of going between Humanz and Demon Days, because that's what I'm oscillating between. Because the first album I ever had, like the CD, was Demon Days. I asked my parents for Demon Days, and I think it's because on MTV I saw the music video for Feel Good Inc. And I was like, what the hell, I love this so much. And so I asked my parents for that for Christmas. It was that, and it was Viva La Vida by Coldplay. Those are the first two CDs I ever received as a child. So everything in between that, Humanz, and after Humanz, I need to properly get into.
So you haven't heard like what's that, Plastic Beach and
Plastic Beach. What's
And then
the
all those
most
other,
recent thing? Song Machine.
Song
No.
Machine.
Machines and all that?
Mm.
Not a single song, or just not the album.
So I listened to Plastic Beach, and I don't know. At the time, I think it's because I wasn't entirely or completely focused on what I was listening to. I didn't quite enjoy it. And I don't want to have that kind of attitude about something that I grew up with. So I think that was a very, very long time ago. So now that I'm big and everything, I think I'm ready to get back into that.
Wow, I didn't know like you actually saw them like that way, like where it's like a childhood like heroes in a way, people that got you to, I think that maybe probably got you to listen to more music in a way, because it's like your first album.
And also more alternative music, because I found it so interesting that I had never, until I was, an adult, seen what Damon Albarn looked like. And I had no interest, because there's an entire world that they're created around, or that exists, the Gorillaz universe, and it was so fantastic for me, and it still really is.
No, but it is quite amazing. I think we sort of on that same era when like, Gorillaz, they came with like, I think as a young person, what really draws you in is like the whole animation aspect of the band. It's like an animated band, and they like singing songs, and then Feel Good came out, and then like just changed everything, and they became like huge. And then people started going back to their older songs like Clint Eastwood and what's that, 19200, like 2000 or something. And then but like my personal opinion on the Gorillaz is like, I'm also a bit like you, but funny enough, I think you're gonna get quite sensitive on this review. You might get quite offended and hurt. This is gonna be quite a I also love Gorillaz. I won't say I love them, I like them quite a bit. I actually sort of like Plastic Beach in a way, and funny enough, I liked Plastic Beach more than Demon Days. I don't know why I didn't like Demon Days. I don't know why. Like, I just struggle. It's an album that I struggle to listen to much. And yeah, I think although it has some really good songs, like, like Feel Good, and then that other one, I always forget the name. I think it's Firecracker or something. The one where the music video is like on the desert. It's in Demon Days, right? The one. I have to check it. What's the name of the song? But yeah, if I remember, I'll tell you. But yeah, like there's quite a few like very popular songs on that album that were really good. But then in terms of their new songs, because I do follow their new music quite a bit, I personally feel like maybe after this album they sort of, maybe they went too experimental and they trying to do too many things that like, and they sort of lost the core audience they gained in Demon Days. So maybe that's why you also don't listen much to their new stuff, because like Demon Days, that was like where they grabbed everyone by the core, by the neck, but then the music sort of fell off a little bit. But I think with this album, there's quite a few interesting stuff that I'll have to say about this album. And yeah, it's going to be quite, and I can really see you getting quite emotional about this.
I'm actually, I'm so excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, but this album is interesting. Definitely, I can just to not like, sort of spoil everything before the podcast begins, but this is interesting. And it's not what I expected it to be. Definitely not what I expected it to be. So but we're gonna head straight to the review. This is quite a long album, probably the longest album I've ever reviewed, maybe that I've even ever heard, because this is like the deluxe edition where there's like 26 songs. Even the normal version has like 20 songs, so it's quite a lengthy album. But it's gonna be fun. But it's not an album that I would say feels very long.
Feels like it really, really goes by quickly.
Yeah, I think it goes by quite quickly. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be awesome. So yeah, let's head straight to the music. Okay, so the first songs in the that we're gonna be reviewing, I'm not gonna go in completely in chronological order. I'm just gonna sort of group songs based on like the sound and what they're about and everything, and just common themes that the songs have. And the first song is gonna be in chronological order, which is the intro. I Switch My Robot Off, and then it's Ascension, a song featuring Vic Mensa. And it sort of starts, the way the album starts is sort of in a way that whole, because they're very robotic-ish, and like very very into technology and robots and like animation and all that stuff, and it sort of sets the tone that it's about robots. And then in Ascension, it sort of sets the tone that the album's going to be quite political, quite a few political songs. And I'm actually quite a big fan of that song. That song is like, it's a song that gets me really excited about the album. And I just love the energy of it, and like how he attacks it, and how the political message is just so like out there and like loud, and you know, and he says quite a few deep things, Vic Mensa, on the song. And
I mean, Vince Staples.
Vince Staples. I always mix these two guys, eh? Vic Mensa, Vince Staples, and there's those three guys. It's like Vic Mensa, Vince Staples, and Stacy. What's his name from the internet? Stacy something.
Steve Lacy.
Steve Lacy. I always think they're the same people for some weird reason. But yeah, Vince Staples verse is like really dope. And then like if you check on Moment 207.
I'm just playing, baby, this the land of the free, where you can get a Glock in the gram for the cheap, where you can live your dreams long as you don't look like me, be a puppet on a string hanging from a fucking tree. The sky's falling.
This sort of like dope musical moment on that song where like, you know, the energy is just like super high, and like this sort of this loud like scream after the sort of verse. And yeah, man, it's a really really dope song. And yeah, the message is dope, production is dope, beautiful like choir sounds, message and everything, and just a brilliant collaboration. What do you think of like the way the album starts on your part?
So I feel like this is the kind of music that plays when you are about to take your trip to the space station that we're all moving to, because the earth is burning around us. And
Wow, such a deep analogy.
So the world is just collapsing. It's on fire. But they're still trying to get you, you know, into like a good vibe, but they're also like introducing you to a change that's going to take place. So where we're going, there are robots. Things are far more apocalyptic and dystopian, you know, than what is existing here. It's all rough and rugged and you know, not soft but built up. It's very hard and tough, but they still want you to dance and you know, get into it. And I really like how the entire album actually, like from start to finish, really sounds like a robot is making the thing. It doesn't sound like, it sounds mechanical, but it doesn't sound unnatural or like awful to listen to or scratchy or mad techno or anything like that.
But what do you mean by a robot makes the song? That's quite interesting.
It sounds very, so like picture like a post-apocalyptic world, sort of like Mad Max.
Oh, okay.
But Mad Max with robots. So like iRobot meets Mad Max.
Okay.
And the robots make our music. But they're not like the vengeful robots in iRobot. You know,
They're not evil robots.
Yeah, they're not evil robots. They're like all about vibes and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay, I get it. No, but yeah, but it ties down to the album quite well because also like the I think the album plays a lot on like humanity, robots, or technology, and politics.
It's like,
Like assessing our humanity and like how we interact with like technology in a way. So it plays with that a lot.
What was really interesting for me to find out is that Damon spoke to Pusha T about how he wanted to kind of make an album that like signifies the end of the world because Donald Trump was going to start his presidency. And not to say that they made this album for or about Donald Trump, but that kind of like signified the end. And I think that's why I enjoy this album so much now, because I'm like, whoa, literally things are burning around us everywhere we look. Like there's no certainty, and it kind of feels like we're entering a dystopia right now. So this album is slightly comforting because it feels like the soundtrack to dystopia or apocalypse. I know that sounds very dark.
No, but it's true. It's actually quite true because it's like it is like it was very involved with like the Donald Trump stuff and like because it was made around the time when he was getting elected and stuff, and like everyone thought like that was the worst thing ever, and so they thought the world would end basically because obviously America sort of almost rules the world in a way. So everyone was like scared, and then I think you're saying it quite right. Like everyone felt like it's an apocalypse, it's the end. And I think that album, I think that's what Damien tried to do with this album, is just make it feel like, you know, end of the world, but also talk about things that are happening.
Yes.
And then, yeah, and make it that way. Because that even ties down well to the next like 3 songs that that are like songs that I would say are a little bit more hip-hop influenced. Hip-hop, like the alternative and hip-hop sort of influence. Maybe that almost feel-good vibe that has that alternative edge, but then there's also a lot of hip-hop elements, which are the songs like Saturn Barz featuring Popcorn, Carnival featuring Anthony Hamilton, although Anthony Hamilton's an R&B singer, but it has like this hip-hop like instrumental in like the back, like throughout the song, although he's singing. And then Let Me Out, which is the song that you just mentioned right now, featuring Mavis Staples and Pusha T, is like an all-out political song.
And The Apprentice, don't forget The Apprentice.
And The Apprentice I'll mention a bit later, because it's like the deluxe edition song, but then like The Apprentice also has all the elements that these 3 songs have. It's like it has that hip hop edge with alternative, but it also is very political. They're all very political, because I notice all these songs are quite political in their message. Maybe Saturn Bars is a little bit less because it's like brings in a lot of like, you know, reggae influences and like, yeah, but it's like, but Saturn Bars, like I really love that song. I think that's one of the big things I love about this album is just the features. The features are just so like, I think maybe that's my issue with the new Gorillaz music. I think he hasn't nailed the features that well anymore, but they used to nail them like all the time. Huh?
Really?
Yeah, the features are
This
like
is so much better than everything else.
No, I'm saying, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in this album, he nailed like, I think like almost every feature is like good. There's never like a dull feature where like the artist sort of deteriorates the song. Although I do feel that Pusha T's verse could have been better, or maybe he could have been more like, especially if you're a fan of Pusha T, like he could have been more like. Are you a fan of Pusha T?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Pusha T's. I liked was it Daytona, or is the song called Daytona?
Daytona's the album. No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I like Pusha T when he's like aggressive and like he's a bit like, you know, almost like a little crazy in a way. And I think here he sort of held it back a little bit. Maybe it's because he was trying to focus a bit more on the message and trying to, you know, be a little bit more political. But I think the features were great, like having Popcorn Anthony Hamilton in a hip hop beat is just like a crazy feature, and the political message, and yeah, and it was really dope. And so what do you think of the songs? And also I have another question. And knowing you're a Gorilla fan, right? What type of Gorilla? Because they especially on this album, like it's a collage of different Gorilla styles. Like what type of Gorilla sound are you a bigger fan of? Like giving example of different songs that you've heard, maybe not from this album but from other albums.
So what I like and what I can, you could wake me up at 3 a.m. and tell me to sing Demon Days from top to bottom, from start to finish, and I would be able to, because I've listened to that album so much in my life. I really respect how experimental they are. I love that about musicians when they don't always do the same thing. That's what makes it very difficult for me when people recommend I listen to a musician, and I go through their discography and like the stuff kind of sounds the same. It's very difficult for me to enjoy that thing because I really like versatility, and I also really appreciate collaboration. So what I like about Gorillaz is that, or Damon Albarn, is that he won't put someone on a song and make them not who they are, if that makes sense. So they still maintain their essence, and there's a sound that's built around that and a story that's told from that. When you do something like a concept album, which they've done, which I think a lot more artists should do. Shameless plug. I worked with an artist recently who did something like that, and it's a storybook album. It's inspired by fairy tales. So really, when you and the sound also is so funky and different and all that kind of stuff. I think doing a concept album or also collaborating with so many people who have different sounds is the versatility. So I again, because I'm unable to be objective, I really can't fault them for what this album sounds like. And I really appreciate the common threads that they have when they do that. An album can be great, like Made in Lagos, but sometimes things are just great because the songs are great and they have really nothing to do with anything. But this has something to do with something, and it blows my mind. Saturn's Barz, I like the fact that I'm listening to a black man in space, right? And this is not a black man who is rapping in a Caribbean accent, but is not from the Caribbean.
Where's he from? Isn't he from the Caribbean?
He's from Jamaica. But what I'm saying is that it's not like he put Drake on a song and made Drake do the thingamajig. It's that thing of still, still allowing people the freedom to express their essence and who they really are and to build a sound around that. It's such a grimy. I'm really struggling. I really need to use my words properly. I kind of also, outside of the space aspect or element, if you close your eyes and listen to Saturn's Barz, you can imagine yourself in like an underground basement club or something, full of smoke and like ambient red light kind of a thing. And maybe it's a place that you're not supposed to be at. And I like that it invokes that kind of thing. Maybe only in me.
No, it does. It's very it's almost post-apocalyptic in a way, it's like war zone, or like sort of like, it's like a collage of sounds.
Underground club trying to smuggle bottled water, and here's the soundtrack of the thing. I love it. It's sinister. It's slightly sinister.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. It's probably one of my favorites as well. But like, but back to that question, like what version? What about like what version of Gorillaz do you like? Do you like more the like, or Or do you like just listen and then like you don't really have a criteria in a way? You just listen and say I like this or I like that.
I think that's what I'm starting to, what I want to do actually, because understanding how they make their music, it's very important to factor in the, the fact that they might not have one solid sound. And if you come expecting, something to sound like an artist's previous work, you might really be disappointed. Like how Muramasa, what's the first album that he did? The one with A$AP Rocky and
Muramasa.
Yeah. And then when he did Raw, I think it's called Raw Collage or something, the sound is completely different. Like Petronada with 99.9 and with the new thingamajig, like things can't always sound the same. So if we expect musicians to always make the same thing, we're really going to be disappointed. Bringing it back home, a lot of people, when AKA released Bovamania, it's called Bovamania, last year, they had issues with the fact that he didn't sound how he did. And one thing that he brought up, I hate that I'm even talking about that, man, is the fact that he couldn't be expected to release something that sounded like Levels because he was 24, 25 when he put out Levels. So artists grow, they're exposed to different things. They also have the freedom to do whatever they want to do. And we can't now box them in and say, oh, you've always made this sound, continue making this sound. They have artistic license.
Yeah, that's true. I think what's important in a way, I think it's I think the perfect example of this that I can think of is always Jay-Z, because Jay-Z is like, he's very smart and methodical in that way, where he's like, he makes music for his core audience, right? So it's the same audience that listened to his music, to his first album, like I think it's Blueprint, right? Blueprint album. His first album, he makes music for those same people right now. And I think the mistake that a lot of artists make is like you said, right? They want, like AK is like 30 something now, but they want him to make music the way it sounded when he was 24. For a different audience, for the audience at his age, 24, but now he's 30, and he can't, and he probably won't be able to cater to the 24-year-old the way a 24-year-old will be able to cater to his demographic, right? So I think that's why a lot of artists fail in a way, because they think because I was successful, especially pop stars, like I was successful with that sound, right? Like, just think like I'll just give Michael Jackson. I know you're quite very with Michael Jackson, but I was successful with that sound, right? And then now I'm like 20, 30 years older, but I'm still trying to make music for that sound for people at that age, in that period. Those people that heard that song at that time are now like 50. They're not gonna want to listen to stuff like that anymore.
Exactly.
Like, they're gonna want your music to evolve, and I think it's very tough for music to evolve. It's very, very tough because you don't know, because the record labels tell you to make stuff that sells, because young people are the people that listen to music the most. So it's a very complicated thing, and I think if you can get the audience right, yeah. Sorry.
I'm saying you've got to be very audacious and say, you know what, regardless of what people say, we're going to try and do this thing. It feels right. We want to work on a different sound, regardless of what people might say. Let's do this shit anyway. Yeah,
you just trust your instincts.
Yeah, you trust your instincts, and the world is so big and so vast. There are going to be people who love that shit.
Yeah.
You might not like it. I'm definitely going to talk my crap about the things that I don't like, but there's going to be someone who really loves your stuff.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I think if it's honest, there'll definitely be people who like it. Definitely. And now the next two songs that I'm going to jump to
actually sticks to that point, to those points that we just made right now, which is Strobe Light featuring Evan Everett and Andromeda featuring D-Ram. So that's how you pronounce the name, D-Ram or something.
I think Dram,
right?
They go by Shelly.
Sorry?
I think they call themselves Shelly now.
Shirley.
Like
Shelby.
Dram is...
No, but Dram is like one dude.
Yeah, he is now called Shelly.
Is that what he calls himself now?
I think so. Yeah.
Because I think that's his like his birth name, right?
Goes by
Yeah,
Shelly
yeah.
now.
Oh, he goes by Shirley. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually not quite familiar with his music. I don't even know if it's hip hop or if it's like alternative or what he is, but I just see some of his songs. Yeah, I think he sings and raps, right? He's like a singer and rapper. And in Andromeda, he was like
Mostly singing and like hitting those really high notes, high pitched notes. And
That's
yeah,
something I find very interesting with a lot of rappers who sing. I never expect them to sing as beautifully as they do. I'm so shocked every time. Like, how do you do that?
it's two different talents. Right? It's two completely different talents. Like to sing is one thing, to rap is like completely. And if you can do both, wow, then like, hey, you know. And if you can do both of them well, then hey, you're bound to blow. You're bound to blow. And I think these two songs, they like a bit similar in sound, a little bit. Yeah, but I don't know what would you classify these two songs as, and like what would you link the sound to, and do you think you can put them together like Andromeda and Strobe Light?
You know, Strobe Light sounds like a light switching on. Like it's such a fast song. It's so quick, literally tying in with the whole space theme of the album. It literally, I compare it to a light nature. It's such a fast, high energy song, and a specific lyric that I can't remember.
Aren't you mixing up the song? Is it high? It's not fast. Is it fast?
Yeah, it is fast. Well, to me, it sounds fast. It's not like as
Ascension. I think Ascension sounds a little.
No, Ascension got that.
oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's Strobe Light is there's a lyric that I can't remember now. God damn it! But it sounds. I don't know. These songs don't sound like the rest of the album. And there's also another song I don't want to mention. I want to save it for later. But they have this thing where Gorillaz, they're able to like tie in all of the themes, and then the songs that don't sound as like heavy or dark or evil still work so well. And with Andromeda is actually a sad song.
Yeah, it's quite a sad song, huh?
Yeah, it's a very, very sad song, but it's so beautiful as well.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that.
No, not at all. And Strobe Light, he's singing about how fast people are living, I think, and how people are not grounded. Yeah. And I don't want to like grasp at straws because that's what I do for a living, but maybe with speaking about strobe lights and how fast things go, I don't know, we could think of, you know, how fast-paced life is and all of that kind of stuff.
Now it's important to slow down sometimes and be aware of like be in the moment, you know, and take it easy and everything.
There's Obsidian. I forgot my Obsidian reference now. But the rock that's made from lava, like hardened from heat. I know that from listening to the song. It's gone now.
Yeah. No, but you're right. I think both songs feel similar in that way. Like Strobe Light feels like it's about everything's moving too quickly, but like trying to slow down and like appreciate the moments. And then Andromeda almost also feels like that same way, even if like you don't listen too much to the lyrics, but it feels like that, like being aware of the moments and things that are happening now, and yeah, and it's like my only criticism though. This is my first criticism of this album. Like, firstly, I didn't like how it sort of transitioned from Ascension based on the track listing, right? We sort of going out of order, but like on the listing of the album, it sort of goes to Ascension where it's like high energy.
Yeah.
And then it drops like a lot. I felt it dropped. I know you say it's fast, but like it dropped and then the sound changed a lot. It's like it changed quite a lot. It almost felt like a different album in a way. and I think I didn't like that too much because I like it's yeah, I think if you liked Ascension and you're not a diehard fan, right? And you go to Strobe Light, it's like you're like, okay, what is he doing now? So I didn't like that transition too much. And I think that's my general criticism about this album. Maybe it's because there's too many songs. And the song sort of like, it's like a really dope song. This is a song that's like, it's a dope song. It's like, it's dope. It's like, it's so it sort of goes like that. But like, Andromeda is like, I did like Andromeda. Andromeda was quite cool. It felt a lot like a song from Plastic Beach though. It felt a lot like that very, because Plastic Beach, they tried being very like electro 80s in a way, almost. Like if you remember like Stylo.
I kind of get the same vibe from Strobe Light though. Like from the entire album, it sounds very like pop techish kind of thing that they're trying to do. That they managed to do, not trying to do. But this Andromeda song was so sad because it's very nostalgic. You know how when we were speaking about, what were we talking about last time? Daniel Caesar and how, you know, some of his songs are so upbeat. You don't actually listen to the lyrics. You don't actually go into the lyrics. But it's sad. It's a very sad song. Yeah. So I personally, guys, this is very, very difficult for me because I actually should have prepared myself, like my objectivism or
your critic side.
My critique side and like being hardcore, because you are right about the fact that the sound changes so much in the thing, and I think because I'm open to, you know,
all those changes.
For some people, when they want to listen to an album, they prefer this, you know, a straight line. You know, for things to move in an interesting direction, not to go too high and then, you know, go all the way down.
No, but that's why like concept. Sorry to cut you. That's why like concept albums work so well, because it's like it's one unified idea, even if the sound changes, but like the idea is always there. Like it's sort of following a narrative in a way.
Exactly.
So yeah.
100%.
So yeah, and then the next 2 songs or 3 songs, I'm just gonna name the interludes. I don't really have much to say. I don't know if you want to say something about it's like a bunch of interludes where it's like, you know, like I didn't get them. But like there's a lot of
I think that they're necessary considering how long the album is.
Yeah, just to give a breather.
Something, if there's something that's not a song, but it still sounds, still keeps the theme going. That, you know, it's uniformity.
Yeah.
Also for people who have short attention spans and stuff.
To wake them up. But then the other songs like are Moments featuring De La Soul, which is like a big collaborator for them, and Submission featuring Danny Brown and Kelela. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Kelela, yeah. And these songs are very interesting to me. And I think they're similar in a way. And I feel like they're similar in the way where I think this is what I would say I like about Gorillaz a lot of times, is where they sort of have like they have a serious message, but then they present it in a very playful, almost like even you could even say childlike way, right? You could even say childlike way, like especially those songs from like Demon Days, that have like where they'll be talking about something serious, but like playing with like a super high pitched voice, or like a kid's voice. But with those like cool like alternative sounds, and like even in Moments, right? Moments is basically, it's a hella political song, because especially like it doesn't feel political until like sort of that ending moment where in like 2:35, where they talk about like the Ku Clown Clan, right?
Moments. I'm talking about the Ku Clown Clan. Ku Clown Clan.
I'm talking about the Ku Clown. No, it's not Ku Klux. It's Ku Clown Clan. But it's basically a play on like the Ku Klux Klan, and sort of back again Donald Trump, I think, right? Donald Trump, and like and how you sort of, and I'll say maybe it means like how you're missing these moments of like the Ku, like they calling themselves Ku Clown Clan, but like they probably the Ku Klux Klan. But like you may be missing these moments and the dangers of like because you're presenting things in such a playful way, you don't see that. And then also even in Submission, right? Submission in Danny Brown's verse, right, where he sort of sings with this really high pitched voice, where he's rapping actually. Oh yes, that, which I love that song just in general. And like, and then Danny Brown's talking about like serious mental health issues. It's like that he does speak a lot about on his platforms and stuff, but like in a really playful way, and also just like that. And I just have to say, I thought Kelela was Little Dragon, your favorite artist. She sounds exactly like her. Yeah.
When I heard Submission, I also I wanted to go through the album without looking at the features, and I really thought that she sounded like Yukimi, right? I really thought that that's who that was. And I don't listen to a lot of Kelela. I've tried. I don't enjoy her music.
You've tried, okay.
Yeah, no, I have tried. I've
never tried.
But I think that I don't know, her sound or how she sounds is very similar to Little Dragon, yeah. Very, very similar. These dudes have... They've kind of hit the nail on the head with delivering really important messages with sounds that are not going to make people miserable. Music really has power to do that. I think you know this from filmmaking, that sound or music can really alter how people receive a scene. So if there's no music, if there's no background sound, and it's just people talking and performance going over, there's nothing that's going to mess with people's emotions. I forgot what that's called, the little bit of drama studies that I took in university. So you're kind of making people feel good with, the things that they're singing, and they don't think about these things. And the last time I mentioned how that song? I always the kids with pumped up kids.
Foster the Kids.
Foster the People is so upbeat, but it's a song about something very, very serious, and something very serious that happens outside, where unfortunately, kids are shooting schools and stuff like that. It's kind of like, oh my God, there's a song by UB40 as well. I'm so ashamed that I can't think of the title right now. Boys and girls come out to play. The junkman's on the streets today to make sure something. It's a song about drugs, basically, but it's so upbeat. You have no idea that they're addressing a very serious issue. And I really think that they got that right with these as well.
It worked really well. It worked really, really well. And then I think, and another question I want to ask you is like, I can definitely see like you're very alternative taste. Like the fact that you know who Kelela is. I had no idea who Kelela is. And I think I didn't know who like 90% of this artists in this album were. Like even Danny Brown, I knew who he was, but I didn't know. I heard one song with him, with A$AP Rocky, but I've never heard anything else by him before. But like, so I want to ask you, like, cause he in the features, like we said, the features are just, he nailed it on the head. Almost every feature in the song. How many of these featured artists did you know, like, on the album, like their music in general?
So Vince Staples, Popcorn, De La Soul, Danny Brown, Kelela, Grace Jones, Dram, Anthony Hamilton, Pusha T.
Grace Jones, wow.
Rag and Bone Man,
Rag and
Ray
Bone
Black.
Man.
Yeah.
So you knew them before listening to the album, or before?
Kylo Kish and Carly Simon.
Okay. Wow, you knew almost everyone. Wow, I think.
You say for like 4 people.
Oh.
Maybe that's also why this is like a heightened experience, because I'm already familiar.
Yeah, because you know this artist. Yeah, so I think with you, it's like it's a bit more special. You're like, wow. Because I think even because a lot of these guys are very indie, and I think and Gorillaz they're very smart in a way, because they delve in the indie space, but also very commercial in a way. They sort of navigate between both. Now they're more indie in their new music, but like, you know, in the Demon Days time, and even on this album, they sort of in the middle, right? And like, you know, and I think, and what's cool about this album is like how they let you discover this sort of unknown people who are really talented, right?
Or really
Yes.
talented, like.
But like, you know, someone like me who probably only knew like 5 artists. I probably knew, if I named them, I probably only knew obviously De La Soul, Vince Staples, Popcorn, Anthony Hamilton. I've heard of Mabel Staples, but I don't even know how he sounds. I've just heard his name, but I'm not really familiar with his music. Pusha T. Yeah, and I think that's it. I don't know anyone else. And Kali Uchis. Yeah, I don't know anyone
You
else.
like
eh?
her?
No, she's quite cool. I think she did quite well on the album. Yeah, I sort of discovered her not quite a while back. I'm a bit on and off with her. Sometimes I listen to her and like go off and come back. But yeah, but like I probably knew like 40% of the artists. So like, I don't know who Rag and Bone was, Zebra Cats, Ray Black, and
Oh, Ray Black is good.
yeah, Grace Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea who these people were. But yeah, but it's quite dope that he gets so many. Yeah, but the features on this album is really probably the biggest highlight. Biggest highlight. And then the next 2 songs, right? I'll call these songs, in my eyes, a little bit more experimental, right? Maybe a Gorillaz that I'm not too familiar with, and it's songs like Charger with Grace Jones, featuring Grace Jones, and Sex Murder Party with Jamie Principle and Zebra Cats, right? Who'd you say? You said you like Zebra Cats or Black? What's his name?
Ray Black.
Oh, you said Ray Black. Oh, not Zebra.
Yeah.
Ray Black. Yeah, and these songs are. Yeah, I want to be honest. I didn't like them much. I didn't like the songs much. It's that thing, you know. It's gonna be like that in this review. It's like I like these 2 songs, but then these 2 songs I don't like. I like these 2, but this, you know. Yeah, and I felt it was quite. I loved Grace Jones' voice. She has like that sort of vintage, like almost, if you could say, 70s soul voice in a way. Very deep. Very like deep voice, and then it's like, and having her on the song made the song sound very different and gave it more life. And I think I sort of liked her moments more, but then the song in general, that guitar annoyed me. I didn't like that too much. And Sex Murder Party was just yeah, it was just I just didn't feel it. I just didn't feel it. Maybe I didn't get the message well enough. Although the name does make it a little bit obvious, but I'm trying to look beyond the surface. Like it's just about having sex, murder, and parties, or is it just like is like killers who like to have sex and murders? Or I don't know. Yeah, what do you think of these two songs? Yeah.
Oh, I hope that this is a safe space. I feel like if someone were to do something very filthy to me, I'd love for these songs to play while those things are taking place.
Those two songs.
Yeah, like I mean, like right now, obviously it's Corona times and everything, so I can't even find myself in a place that has like a pole. But I'd love to learn pole dancing to these songs, to, you know, hang upside down or like be handcuffed.
Even what's that song name? Even Charger.
Yeah, like hang me upside down with handcuffs and whip me, but like in space.
Oh, good. It's like everything's in space, right?
Everything is in space. Like they still sound very grungy, dare I say it. I love Charger so much.
You love it, wow.
Yeah, I do. Oh,
But is it because you're a fan of Grace Jones, or is it you just love?
no, because literally because of how it sounds. Because I didn't know that it was Grace Jones. I listened to this album with my eyes closed. And with some of the people, like I was able to hear. So Ray Black, I was able to pick up. Anthony Hamilton, I was able to pick up. Vince Staples, I was able to pick up. Pusha T, obviously. Rag and Bone Man. But then with this song, when I listened to it, I literally had no idea who was on the song. And then when I saw it, I was like, ooh, yes. It's... Alright, this is so difficult for me because again, I'm going to say that these songs are so necessary. And they really would be great for something that's very similar to Mad Max. Like that post-apocalyptic, we're fighting for resources, but we're still sexy. Still doing some bad shit. I like them.
But Sex Murder Party is very moody.
And I can get that, and that's exactly what I was about to say. Like, it's a very intense song. They're both very, very intense songs, and I can understand why some people would look at the title and be like, It can make people uncomfortable. These sounds, especially, can make people uncomfortable. They're very like cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is very like sci-fi-ish, very like
Yes.
cinematic in a way as well, you know, cinematic in a way. And I think because Charger feels a lot like almost like a cyberpunk scene, but like a scene that like people are about to get killed, but like in a sexy way. Where they mentioned, like, she kept saying I am a ghost, and like all those, and just the way Grace Jones' voice sounds, it sounds quite haunting in a way.
Yes.
And like, you know, and dark, and even Sex Murder Party sounds like very dark, and like, you know, like the people in a very dark place.
And
Very
grossly
bad things.
inappropriate.
Great what?
Grossly inappropriate.
Yeah, I think they're very polarizing songs. Yeah, they're very songs that, like, you know, like you said, it can drive some people off. Like, yeah, this might be a little too much for me, you know.
But I think that was the purpose. That was like the objective, you know, these two songs.
All right, so the next two songs are songs that I would say are quite sad, you know, sad songs. One a bit more sad than the other, but the first one is Busted in Blue And the other one is Hallelujah Money featuring Benjamin Clementine or Clementine. I like two songs. Like you already know with me, I love sad songs. Busted in Blue is probably the saddest song in the album. Just in terms of like, just the way it sounds and even what he talks about and the way he says it, And I think this is sort of Busted in Blue is sort of it's about how sad he is about technology and the internet and how technology sort of although it helps us a lot, it can ruin us, right?
And
It's sort of connected in a way to the whole cyberpunk theme or the apocalyptic thing. It's like we have all this, but this is sort of ruining us. This technology is sort of ruining us, and yeah, and I really like I really like the sad songs. And then also Hallelujah Money. You don't connect to them.
No, I absolutely despise sad songs. I think that's why I enjoy songs like Andromeda that are like high energy or like high vibe but are about sad things. I don't know. I don't like the melancholy and the misery that comes with the sad song that sounds sad.
Oh, you don't like that?
No, I don't like double sadness. Like,
then it's too depressive.
yeah.
Let me dance to my sadness.
Yes.
No, I get it. No, because this songs they can change your mood quite a lot. It's like it's a song. It's hard for you to be happy and like listen to this and not feel and not go like from here to here.
Yeah.
But like with me, I'm a bit weird in that way because I embrace sadness in a way sometimes. Because it's like, and I think with humans it's like that. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, and like, because I think if you can appreciate every emotion, then the highs can be higher. I think because you've sort of acknowledged that you're sad instead of trying to lie to yourself that you're not.
Oh,
And
you make
then-
a good point.
And then when real happiness comes, you're like, wow, this feels so much better than what happened previously. So yeah, and then
Speak on it, brother.
and then Hallelujah Money is like is a very like it's very political, and it's a song I like quite like. I love the sound of it, like just how, especially the feature, this guy, what's his name, Benjamin Clementine.
Like his
I love
features
his
quite
voice.
it's quite
His voice is just so amazing. It's like, and it's like this operatic sound, like opera, and it's like very deep and yeah, and like just the political message of it, because this one is like really like, it's although it's saying Hallelujah Money, but it's more like money's destroying us, and like again Donald Trump, where he mentions building walls and
Pulling the lyrics up here.
Don't worry, my friend. If this be the end, then so shall it be. Until we say so, nothing will move. Don't worry. It's not against our morals. It's legally tender.
Legal tender, like literally being money.
yeah.
Touch, my friend, while the whole world and the whole beast of nations desire power. That's terrifying, because that's exactly what is going on Earth. This is like
yeah.
constant desire and production of money, and everything being driven by capitalism. It's very unsanitary. It's pure evil, and it's what people think will improve the world is actually crippling it.
Yeah.
But people praise it, and I think that goes with the title as well, like Hallelujah Money.
yeah, no, people praise it, and like, and I think Busted and Blue's the same thing. Right? They think technology is improving, but it's things that they can help, but they can also cripple if you don't focus on the right things with it, or you don't base things too much on it. Like you don't live too much based on money and power and all those things. It can take away sort of your humanity, right? And I think, and in this song is sort of that the name of the album, like, right, the evaluation of humans, analyzing human behavior in a way. And yeah, and it's just, yeah, I love these two songs. I love these songs. Do you have anything else to add, or should we jump to the next one?
We can jump because if I get into how I feel about sad songs, well, we're not gonna end. So let's jump. Let's go. Let's move.
Well, we should talk about this one day, hey?
Wow.
We should.
Yeah.
If you do another season, you should put me on.
Yeah, we'll just do like maybe I'll choose like a really sad album. I think the saddest album that I can think is probably, but you're not a fan, right? Probably Trilogy by The Weeknd. Or maybe like that third album from I think it's Echoes of Silence. Yeah, that one's just pure sadness. Huh?
It's not gonna fly with me, but I'll try it. I'm open. Like I said, I'm open.
You're open.
I can try it over a month. I can listen to one album over a month, a song a day. A song every few days. I can do that.
Wow, really? Is it that heavy for you? Like having to
Yes.
Wow. Okay. No, that's just now I'm gonna plan it. Hopefully season 2. But yeah, so the next song is She's My Color featuring Kali Uchis. Much more happy vibes here. Dig the song quite a lot. Great melody. And the features, man. The features on this album is just like, I don't know, eh? It's just so good, eh? You're just so good. And yeah, and I feel like this song is sort of almost like Sex Murder Party, right? Sex Murder Party almost feels like it's a song about this dangerous woman, right? Sort of taking you to this sort of dark place. And like She's My Color is sort of about like this woman who sort of, she's my color, but like she's like sort of my Bonnie and Clyde. Like she influences me to do all these bad things that maybe I want to do, but I don't have the courage to do. Almost like a femme fatale, a femme fatale vibe.
Yeah, what do you?
And I don't want to objectify her, but putting Kali Uchis on the song, it's kind of a sexy thing. She's a very beautiful, sexy woman. Also, how she sounds is really. It's alluring.
Yeah.
I think it's alluring. That's how I feel about her music in general. I like the song.
She's sexy, but she's not too explicitly sexy, but
yeah,
And her voice is like
she's
seductive.
sensual.
yeah.
Yes.
Sensual, yeah. Maybe the word is
Sensual, yeah. Sensual. Yeah, not sexual, but sensual. I think sexual would be more like, who is sexual? Who's an artist that's sexual? I don't know, female. Yeah. You wouldn't say it because you're a feminist.
Who?
Mhm.
Who is that?
No, like, who's an artist who's like sexual? No way.
Oh, like completely.
Maybe Nicki Minaj even. No, Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion. Perfect.
And Cardi's.
Even Cardi, yeah. Cardi. A lot of like the female rappers these days are very like, you know,
Yeah.
like I don't even want to say the lyrics, but like, you know, yeah, because when WAP came out, that was like a huge, like, you know, that was like, wow, that was like, I would love to hear like what was the reaction in like SA, because like to the more English speaking audience, because here you don't really get too much of those reactions because like, obviously people here speak Portuguese, so.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the lyrics are about. Just vibing to it.
We should actually, let's do a bonus episode where we deconstruct WAP.
Really, wow. Is it that deep, huh?
This is quite deep.
Wow, it's that deep. But yeah, and then the next two songs is like the next song um is the last song of the normal version of the album, right? Not the deluxe version, which is We Got the Power, featuring Jenny Beth, who's a French artist, French musician. And yeah, I'm gonna let you go first. What do you think of the way the 20 track version of the album ends, not the 26?
It's incomplete.
It feels incomplete if it ends here.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I'm going to express it right now for
Yeah.
everyone to hear, for you to hear. I think the deluxe version is better.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's sometimes, you know how Fall for You. So Jamie Foxx and Drake both did Fall for You, and the song was so short and you felt like you wanted it. The album ending with that song just kind of felt like, where's the rest, you know? And then when you discover that there's a deluxe version, then they're like, yes, there's more. Because maybe they also thought to themselves, you know what, we made so much, let's slap on a few more. And they did that. And I'm happy that they did that.
I think with some artists, yeah, they do that. I think with that, I forgot that album. That's the album's name, right? Fall for You. Or is it the song?
For Your Type.
Fall for Your Type. Oh, it's a song. Fall for Your Type. Yeah. I remember I did hear about that before, like where people felt like they needed more, and like the deluxe version sort of added that extra thing. I think that is smart, like marketing in a way, right? Like leaving a song that gives you a taste. For me personally,
I think we're done.
we're not done.
You think we're done, but we're not.
For me though, weirdly enough, because I didn't just hear, but I was hearing it like a lot, the album. So I heard the whole thing, right? And then I heard just the album version. And then again the deluxe version, right? And then I feel like it is good though when an album feels like it shouldn't end yet, or like shit, has it ended already? Because the good thing about that is like it makes you want to listen to it again, right? You're like shit has ended. Okay, let me listen to it again, and then you're like, okay, let me listen to it again. But when it's stretched out too long or too much, you sort of want it to end. You're like, hey, when's this thing gonna end? So it's a very fine balance, like where like on this album we're gonna say it a bit later if it worked for you. Obviously you already said if it did. I'm gonna say it a bit later if it worked or not. The deluxe version. But I think this track was quite dope. It was quite a dope track. I love the feature. And it sort of ties down the album in a way, right? Where it's like it's a lot of this doom and gloom, Hallelujah Money songs and Busted in Blue and all the songs about problems, but like stuff. But in this song sort of brings it back in the human level, tells us like, no, we are humans. We have the power to change things, right? We have the power to overcome all these obstacles from technology, of politics, of all over the world, and like if we come together, we can make the change that needs to happen. And I think it sort of gives you, although some songs give you that bitter taste of like, this is like doom and gloom, and like, but it gives you that message of hope. Like, no, things can get better if we work together. And I think that's a perfect way to end the album. And it's like, and for me, it should have ended. For me,
it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
If they didn't continue with the deluxe version, it would have been good. But I think when you know how the rest of the album is, or how the deluxe version continues, you're kind of like, yeah, this didn't have to stop. If it had though, I mean, I would have been like, you know, But the fact that I know, kind of makes it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good to listen to just the album and then the deluxe, right? Because when you know, it's like, like there's some other songs that are coming that like too. Yeah, and we're gonna jump straight to those other songs, and that song is like probably one of my favorite songs of the album as well, which is The Apprentice, featuring Rag and Bone, Zebra Cats, and Ray Black. Man, the song is so good. The song is just like, and I was angry. I was like, you should have put that on the album version, but it makes sense. Like it's like you said, right? Like you sort of want to keep listening to it, and then like they were quite smart in the track listing, because it's like the sort of we got the power, and then there's the interlude, and then it's The Apprentice, right? So it tells you that like, okay, you might think the album's over, it's gonna be bad, but then we're gonna hit you with a really dope song that's gonna make you want to listen to the rest of the deluxe edition, and just the features on this song is just so good. Like Rag and Bone is amazing. His voice is just, yeah. What do you want to say?
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard? So you asked whether Strobe Light and Andromeda can be like put together.
Yeah.
They're on the same album though. But have you ever listened to albums or songs from different albums that kind of mirror each other?
From different albums.
Yeah, like, and completely different artists.
I think I have, but it's hard. But I think I have. But like, do you mean like is it in a good way or in a bad way?
No, in a good way. Why am I saying in a bad? In a good way.
Or in a good way?
Yeah, in a good. So I was listening to, in preparation for this, I was listening like 2 a.m. the other day. And after listening to this, I was like, no, man, this song sounds like a song that's about the same thing, but a lot more serious. And that is A Few Words for the Firing Squad by Run the Jewels. They're almost identical. Oh, God.
Let me try and find it. Let me try and listen to it. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, you really should.
A Few Words.
The Firing Squad.
I see. But you say they almost sound like the same song almost, or similar.
They sound similar in what they're about, not about the actual sound, because A Few Words to the Firing Squad is a very sad and intense song. But it's like, it's kind of song that you would put at the end of, you know how in the Joker, when all of the Jokers are in the town, and Joaquin Phoenix is going out of the thing with Jake, the taxi, whatever, or the vehicle. That song, A Few Words for the Firing Squad, matches a scene like that. The very final scene where all of the chaos, culminates.
Chaos.
Everything. Yes. And although The Apprentice isn't it doesn't sound like that. It could be paired so well. I don't know how to explain it properly. But they're like fraternal twins.
Yeah. Now I'm listening to a bit of the song right now. It does have that like sort of post-apocalyptic and almost like very like cinematic as well, and like very like a hectic type thing, and about politics, and injustices, and like and yeah, and I think for movies it works quite well, especially for scenes like that where it's a bunch of group of people, and it does sound it is, but then I don't see a lot of similarities, but I think maybe I do actually. Funny enough, I do. I think Rag and Bone's verse maybe is a little bit, but obviously I have to listen to the Run the Jewel song a little bit more in depth. But I think Rag and Bone's verse is a bit more because his voice is very like soulful, right? Very like soulful. But then when we get to like what's his name? I think is Deborah Katz. His name Zebra Katz.
Zebra Cats.
Yeah, Zebra Katz verse. I think it's the final verse of the song. That's when we get that sort of Run the Jewels type. For me, right? Like obviously I haven't heard the Run the Jewels song that well, but like almost that post-apocalyptic, like talking about injustices, and where he goes like New Black King, New York Dream, motherfuckers, everything and things I'm saying, the world dark, your new black dream. It feels like, feels very like chaos is happening all over the place, and like
chaos is just ensuing all around.
ensuing around us, and like you sort of talking about all these injustice. It's like almost like a protest song, right? Where you like protesting about your rights, and then like you're in the middle of a protest and you start like telling that to the middle of the crowd, and it's like, and it gets very atmospheric, especially at like I think also Ray Black's part, because I struggle to identify who was Ray Black in the song.
So Ray Black. It starts, "Why you mad at me? Tell me I was born to quit. I was checking gold."
I think he's sort of the second verse.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Let me just. Yeah, Ray Black's because I had no idea who he was.
It's a she.
Oh, is it a she?
Mm.
Oh, I know who she is. She's like the second. Yeah, the chick who sings the second verse. Like
Yes.
Oh, okay. I sort of mixed that up a little bit. Why are you mad at me? Yeah, she's also very. She's quite similar to what's his name? Rag and Bone. Very soulful. Very like And then, but then I get that part of the apocalypse, especially when Zebra Cat, because the instrumental also changes. We get those like synth sounds.
And isn't that so nice in a song when a song changes?
Yeah.
Like the transitions that take place.
Transitions, yeah. We spoke about that. Yeah, two different songs.
Spoke about that, yeah.
Yeah. No, but it worked, and especially good when it works like so well. Like here, it works really well. It's like first it gives you funky and like talking about politics, but like funky sound, but then it changes to like dark, like almost gangster rap. Is it gangster rap? Almost like gangster rap in a way, but you still love it, right? Because I think they just figured out a way to tie things together, and yeah, man, it's just
what it also kind of sounds like. Oh God, what is that song by Pusha T?
From Daytona, probably, right?
Is it from Daytona?
I think I know what song you're talking about, but like I also
America, you need a miracle beyond spiritual. These ain't new problems, it's just old ways. Just another nigga day. Sunshine with Jill Scott.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or like also like a very sad, heavy laden song, but also about injustice. And then when Zebra Cats puts in that verse, it's also kind of the same.
Oh, is Zebra Cat? I've never heard that song before, actually. Is Zebra Cats also on the song?
Same vibe.
Uh-huh.
No. I'm just making reference to.
Oh, the way he comes in, right? Oh.
Cats one.
Oh yeah. So Jill Scott gives you that sort of soulful vibe that like Rag and Bones gives you, and then
Yes.
Pusha T gives you that Zebra Cats sort of spirit.
Yes.
Yeah. Now this song is quite. I'll say the song is outstanding. This is a really dope song.
Outstanding, isn't it?
No, it's really good.
Oh,
It's
and
really,
also
really good.
one more interesting thing. They reference the title again to Donald Trump
Donald
because
Trump's
he
show.
shows The Apprentice.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it just talks about how his like little sort of reality TV and like this reality TV star guy's sort of gonna ruin the world, right? It's gonna ruin everything, and like how he especially like Zebra Cat's verse is so good, because like I think he gets really deep on like the political like I'm just gonna play it and then like I'm gonna cite it, but on the video I'm gonna play it. But it's like,
Yo, new black king, New York dream. Tell these motherfuckers everything I'm seeing. My world's darker than the young black dream of the first black prince of a new white king.
right? So the first black prince of a new white king, first black prince being Obama, who was like the first black president, and now we have a new white king, which is like again Donald Trump, who, you know,
Like the White Walker
yeah, like a white walker,
coming
like,
to wreak havoc.
to wreak havoc. You know, it's like the he was a prince, now the king came back, because like, you know, black people are princes because we don't get that throne, right, for long, right?
Exactly.
And then like,
And here comes white supremacy just waltzing into the door.
white supremacy just comes, and then it's like,
I just wanna play, have it my way. Make a bunch of fucking rules and tell them obey. They can fuck with me, yeah, OJ. First name government, know him, I slay. New black.
so it's like make a bunch of rules, make a lot of like bad political decisions, which he did. Which seems to be doing again, right? But all like crazy things seem to be happening. And then and it was sort of just destroying everything, and it's like, so the song is just really good. Message, sound, and everything.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 song. 10 out of
10 out of 10. Is that our favorite song?
of the album.
Mm-hmm. Or should we wait until the end?
No, we're gonna wait until the end. Yeah, the end we're gonna get to. So now that we're done with this one, right? So I'm gonna be perfectly brutally honest.
Yes, please.
I felt like after Prince's, the album just should have probably ended because I didn't halfway to the halfway house, I didn't like it too much. It's just I didn't love the energy of it, and then Out of Body, also another like song that like I'll just skip, and and I feel a lot of these songs from the deluxe edition it sort of ran away from the theme of the album, right? It's like it didn't. Some songs did feel political, but the robot stuff also was a little bit gone, and I don't know. And then Take a Tape, which is quite a mellow song. Although that one was alright. Obviously, I'm quite a fan of Kali Uchis. I think she did quite a good job on quite a few songs on the album. But it still didn't. None of the songs from the deluxe edition gave me that excitement that the Apprentice gave me. Right, like the Apprentice, I was like, damn, because I think the Apprentice put expectations too high. Because I'm not a fan of deluxe editions too much, unless I'm a big fan of the artist, and I want to listen to everything they make.
Yeah.
I'm very subjective with their music. But I feel like, it should have probably ended. What do you think of what are your favorites, and what do you think of the three songs? Let's speak about the three songs, right? Halfway House, Out of Body, and Take a Tape. The last song, we'll talk about it later. Yeah.
I'm gonna be completely honest and say I can listen to Out of Body.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily my favoriteest song on that album, but I can listen to it. It's very strange, dare I say it, but I really like halfway to the Halfway House. I did like that, and I wouldn't skip through the songs, but I would zone out during Out of Body. That's what would take place.
Okay.
Which is fair. Stuff like that happens. I wouldn't skip through it though. Not because I'm like a Gorillaz stan or anything, but it's a bearable song. You know, I wouldn't, if I were driving, which is not something I do because I don't drive, but I'd have every song up loud, max volume, and then if it got to out of body and take a tape, kind of take it down, and then turn it right back up before, you know, Humanz closes.
So why would you put the volume down? Because of the way the songs sound, or
Yeah, I think it would kind of mess with my frequency. To be entirely honest, ticker tape and out of body, like they're fine. They just don't sound like the rest of the album.
yeah, they sort of lost the thematic sound and edge. Yeah, I felt like
Sorry, no, go ahead.
no, go. No, you go.
So when I listen to albums, it's very visual for me. And that's why I was
Okay.
able to imagine, even without researching what, you know, the themes were and everything. It sounded like space to me. It sounded like the apocalypse and everything. But then, you know, getting to these two songs, they don't sound like the rest of the album. And like, not to take anything away from them, maybe I'm just being diplomatic, but these two songs didn't have to be on Humanz. They don't bring down the group average or anything, but they don't bang like that.
Ticket tape and out of body, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and halfway houses, in terms of like the message and theme, it's quite good. Like, 'cause it's about, like, you know, halfway house is sort of like almost like a rehab house, sort of, where prisoners,
Yeah, place of
Alex.
safety.
place of safety. So they almost close to safety. You know, they're struggling, but they're almost there. So it can mean symbolically, it can mean many things, right? Not just like addicts or whatever. It's like we're almost there to safety, right? We're going there
Yeah, to safety, to healing, to
To healing.
recovery.
to heal and recover. And even the sort of choir aspect of the sound, right? Of like, I think I call it choir or like soulful sound, makes it sound good. And what I wished the other songs had, right, like Out of Body and Ticket Tape, I wish they could have added more of those hip hop influence sounds, right? I think that is the Gorillaz sound that I personally like more. That very highly influenced, because I think when they mix like hip hop with the alternative sounds, it makes the music sound very quite interesting. So yeah, so I think it sort of dipped a little bit.
And then
You know what they
yeah.
didn't do here
Yeah.
that would have been nice? Maybe for those two songs, where those two songs could have actually been something nice. So what they did on Demon Days with Don't Get Lost in Heaven and Demon Days is that it's one song, but
Yeah.
it's just like cut into two different songs. But the experience of those songs is having them together. They could have done that. They really could have. And with how Halfway to the Halfway House sounds, and the very last song that we're going to get to, which is the best song on album.
The best song.
In my humble opinion, yes, in my unlearned opinion, they could have done one of those little songs of theirs that is two songs in one, but it's separated. You know, that would have been really nice. Maybe throw in choral thingamajig. Maybe have one long musical item. You know, a solo, strings. I mean, that would possibly be redoing what is on Demon Days, but goddamn, it would have worked so well.
And sometimes you must just do what works, eh? What worked, and try to use what worked, but change it just a little bit. Don't have to change it.
Exactly. And I know that I was singing about experiment and variety and all of that kind of stuff, and how things can change and everything. Just in case anyone be like, oh yeah, she said 1, 2, 3. I acknowledge that I said that, and I did mean it, but I also mean this. It really would have been nice if they could have done that small little thing. Because you did ask me, what is a Gorillaz sound that I like, and it's that where the songs are the stories as well, not just the theme, and not just the individual songs, but the songs together.
Okay. Like songs together, how? Like the songs.
Like
So
the
specifically the way Don't Get Lost in Heaven and Demon Days are one song, just separated on the track list.
Okay, but it feels sort of united in a way.
Yes.
Okay. No, I think that's what ties down a sound, right? It makes you like an artist more because it's like everything feels cohesive and like they thought of it like especially like the last album that I reviewed, right? Which was Rosalia's. I don't know if you heard that album before. El Mar Querer. That's a concept album, right? Where everything is like, it's like, well, although you don't, you understand Spanish. I forgot. Shit, you actually understand Spanish. I had to read the freaking lyrics and translate to know what you were saying.
Were you able to catch on eventually though?
No, I had to read the lyrics. Like I had to go on YouTube and translate them, and like because Spanish is very different to Portuguese, like, especially Spanish from Spain.
Spanish from Spain is very, very different.
It's very, very different. It's very because I think that's the proper Spanish, right? The Mexican Spanish is a bit.
We can do
another podcast on
about what is proper what. That's another one.
I don't think the Mexicans are gonna be happy about it, but yeah.
I don't think the me is happy about it, so I don't want to go into that.
All right. Okay, let's go to the final track. The final track, the track that you said is your one of or possibly your favorite track, right?
It's my second favorite.
Second favorite. So let me let you go first. Why do you think is your favorite track?
So once the world has burned down and there's rubble and there's ash and there's like a group of 1,000 of us remaining, and we obviously have to generate life, you know, God forbid, repopulate the earth. Gosh, it's horrific to just think about. But like we're the surviving people. We all gather and we don't know what the hell is going to happen. We don't know if we're going to get to a point where in order to survive we have to eat each other, like literally like cannibalism.
Yeah.
But here's the song that unites us and brings us together and reminds us that we are all that we have. We are a circle of friends. I was so comforted listening to the song, and I think in light of everything that's happening with, you know, the panini and the COVIDs and everything, we can't be around our people. I know some of us have been breaking rules, but here is a song that reminds you of humanity and, you know, the idealistic utopian, which is not even far-fetched because this is a song about community. And it's a reminder that after very bad things, even through bad things, you know, we have a circular.
Circle of friends.
I love this song so much. It's so
good. Yeah.
So comforting. I also really like the, you know, choral aspect, which is very similar to Don't Get Lost in the Heavens and Demon Days. It's also very similar to what you call it, Sunday service. And I don't want to talk a lot about Kanye West, but
it feels a bit religious, right?
Yes.
Or like what is the word? Spiritual, right? Maybe spiritual is better.
Spiritual.
It feels a little spiritual.
It's very uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very uplifting, and I think it's a perfect way to close the thing. It's still a very uplifting song as well, which is great. At least they ended it on that note. I think it's, for how it sounds, it doesn't have like a whole bunch of lyrics and verses like all of the other songs do, but it has a beautiful voice, it has a beautiful message. And it's a perfect little bow on a building that is shattered and a group of people who have left Earth because there's nothing.
There's nothing left.
There's nothing left here except for the people who are on the spaceship, you know?
And it's weird, eh? It's weird how... No, that's interesting. It's weird how, like... I didn't pick up the post-apocalyptic edge of it, eh? It's like something that, like... It's right there, but then some reason I didn't think of it too much as, like, a dystopian, end-of-the-world type vibe. But then, now that you're speaking about it, I actually see, okay, now it makes sense. Especially this song. This song feels like, you know, the end of a movie, a sci-fi movie, and then the world is blown up and there's only like 3-4 people left, and they all
like some type of divergent kind of a thing where all of those kids escape the house, whatever. You know,
the Hunger Games or whatever.
The Hunger Games type of stuff, yes.
Yeah, and then they sort of survived all that, and they sort of like their clothes are torn up and
exactly
battered and bruised.
The horizon lies before them, and then the screen fades to black and the credits roll up, and you're like, oh my god, hope is restored in the universe.
Yeah, no, because the music, it's quite cinematic if you think about it. It's quite like, and it's cinematic in a different way, in a way where it's like, but they do use sort of cinematic sounds, right? But then I think the singer, the guy's voice really ties up everything, right? Like the what's his name? Brendan Markle Holmes. Brendan Markle Holmes. Did you know him? Did you know this guy?
No, I did not.
He's relatively unknown though. It's quite unknown. Yeah, it's R&B artist.
Stunning voice. It sounds like an angel, and then you do research on what angels are like, and angels are actually terrifying. You're like, no, he does not sound like an angel. He sounds like love. He sounds like sunshine.
Yeah. You know, he sounds like it's perfect. That's a perfect analogy. He sounds like sunshine, and I think that's what this song gives away, right? Gives you that sunshine in the end of that light in the end of the tunnel, right? Even though with all the problems and things happening in the world, you know, there's that light, right? And I think, back again to my criticism, my criticism is like, that's the issue. Like, I think he repeats the same message in We Got the Power in this song. It's the exact same thing, right? Like, I think he could have ended with either or. I think this one is, I would say this one is slightly better. To me, it's slightly better. Yeah, slightly. But I also like We Got the Power a lot. I think I love that Jenny Beth's verse and like how she says things that I don't understand in French. It just makes it great. But this song definitely has more soul. It has more feeling and emotion. And yeah, it's a perfect like album closer, and makes the deluxe version a little bit more worth it. Makes it. I think they if they didn't have a deluxe version, then this one probably should have been the album closer. On the normal album, right?
They could have actually put We Got the Power and Circle of Friends and mashed it up, and then.
Oh yeah, there's in one song, right?
Yeah, like Demon Days and Don't Get Lost in the Heavens. I'm gonna sing that to every single person I meet. I'm gonna say, have you guys listened to Gorillaz? Okay. Listen to Don't Get Lost in Heaven and Demon Days. I
can't even remember what song this is, eh? It's weird. I have to check it out. I'm gonna try and check it out. I don't know why I feel I think I need to, because there are those albums that like you need to age a little bit to like them, right? I don't know if Demon Days is that type of album, but like there are those albums that you need to age. Like weirdly enough, like I'm starting to like, I haven't heard it fully yet, but I'm starting to like more, back to Kanye West, another guy I keep talking about a lot. I'm starting to like Dark Twisted Fantasy more now, right? And I heard it the first time in 2018, right? Like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But now I'm starting to like listen to it a little bit differently, especially after listening to College Dropout. I'm like, he was actually onto something here. And like, it's weird how some music, you know, can age well, and like you listen to it and like, okay. So I have to, because also obviously I was also very young when I heard Demon Days. I was like, I was just looking for feel good. When is feel good coming, man? And yeah, but okay. So now let's get to we're gonna get to the overall impressions. I think I'm gonna go first, right? I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna say what I felt about the album, and I felt it was a really good album. Hey, it was a really good album. I think it could have been better if it wasn't a little bit all over the place in terms of sounds and genres. For me, right, it could have been better, but like, what makes it really good is that, like, you know, it never dips too much, right? Like, you never go more than like 2 songs that like I didn't like, you know, it's like but then hey, you know, and I think if I just wished it was more consistent, and he could have like tried more, like I said, that hip hop sound that I liked a little bit more. And yeah, and I think that's my issue with Gorillaz, maybe, right? Maybe I'm not as like you said, right? Like, you knew almost all the artists that are featured in the album, and I only knew like 4. Only knew like 4, right? So I'm not that deep into the alternative scene. But then the good thing about this album, though, is when the songs are good, they are really good. And I think they probably even better than, like, I don't know, it's because I've just heard the album, but I think this album I like more than any other Gorilla album in terms of an album, right? And body of work. Because even Plastic Beach, which is the last one I liked and I heard quite in depth. The songs that I like, but then there's a lot of songs like I think the first half of the album. The second half I don't like so much. But this one is like, there's no halves. It's like, even when you get to the deluxe edition, where I didn't like that much, but like there's like The Apprentice and then The Circle of Friends, that's also like really dope. So it's like, yeah, and I think like they absolutely killed it with the features. The features is probably the best thing about this album. Like, I think he really put a lot of effort in nitpicking who, like, even the songs that I didn't like, I still think the features were great, right? Like, even Out of Body, like Zebra Cat's little voice he does, like, why did I tonight, where he's like whispering. Even that is dope. And like, yeah, and I think that's what Gorillaz needs to do more. Hey, like, if he, like, I think they haven't been getting the features right now in their music. Like, the features have been a little bit off. And although Damien is a great artist, also a good artist, but I think he's better as a producer and a conductor, right? He knows how to conduct. And this album, he really conducted, and great collaborations. I love the political vibe. I love the alternative sound, and
just a really,
it's a very stunning collaborative effort.
Yeah, it's really,
and it's actually far more collaborative than Demon Days was, and I think that's what makes it exceptional. Because Demon Days was great, it was really, really great, but this, you know, featuring people who are current, you know, but also not doing that thing that gets kind of tacky, where you feature a current artist just because you want to blow up or you want the thing to be known. This is very serious. Our topics are very serious, but let us extract every bit of musicianship from everyone who is featured here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, everyone gave their best, eh? And they were themselves, eh? And they were really, like you said, they were really themselves. Like, you know, like this Benjamin Clementine guy, you know, featuring someone like that guy, and like, it's so different to Gorillaz music, right? But like, it worked perfectly well for that specific song and what it was about. And yeah, and like, what do you think of the album? Although you did say a few things, and rating, thinking and rating.
Rating 10 out of 10.
Yo.
I'm gonna go 10 out of 10. Okay, hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. 10 out of 10, purely based on the fact that I am a sucker for storytelling. I'm a sucker for a really great concept. I don't like listening to an album that is all over the place. I have loved Gorillaz since I was a child, so there's that little bit of subjectivity there. Bias, it's bias, complete bias. I'm owning it, I'm saying it with my chest. But it really is making me honor music, and it's making me honor storytelling. I'm a huge lover of sci-fi as well, so for all of the things that I'm interested in, music, sci-fi, politics, beauty, love, humanity, all of these things being brought together, sounding like this with as much versatility and diversity in features, with so many women on here as well.
Yeah.
That's a party for me.
That killed it, eh?
That's a party. So that's 10 out of 10.
Wow.
That's dope.
It's straight 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I would. Okay, I'm gonna oppose you a little bit, but I think 10 out of 10. I wouldn't give it 10 out of 10. No way. Like, maybe obviously you said you are biased because you grew up with them, you love them, and especially when you love an artist and an artist does like something that's like, good, or at least at the level, formidable, then like you're like, wow, I love this, right? I absolutely love this. I would probably give this, I wanted to give it 7, but I'll give it 8. Weirdly enough, I'll give it 8 out of 10, just because when it's good, it's really good, and it's better than, I'd say, like I said, it's my favorite, probably my favorite right now. I don't know if it'll change, but I doubt it will. But like, probably my favorite Gorillaz album, just because, the collaborations really were the thing. I think on the other albums, the collaborations didn't always work so well. Like even on Plastic Beach, there was like Snoop Dogg on the album, but it's like, it's like, why have Snoop Dogg? And it's like, and that happens a lot with, and it's such a hard thing to do, to have like great features on your album, because it's that thing that you said, right? It's like sometimes people just choose someone because it's like the flavor of the day, but then you realize like, shit, like this guy's actually, they didn't put an effort, or they didn't allow the artist to be fully themselves, or something like that. So yeah, and I think with this one it definitely worked. And like, if the album was, sorry, just to cut you, if the album didn't dip for me, right, didn't have like those dips for me, I would easily give it 9. I wouldn't give it 10, but I would easily give it 9 if it didn't have those dips. If it stayed more consistent, I'd give it 9 out of 10. But because of the inconsistency, I'll give it 8. I
just want to say also that given there are those outliers, those songs that just didn't make sense and that dipped or whatever, it's my work.
It's what? I was losing you a bit.
A very stunning body of work. Regardless of the fact that there are those outliers, or the songs that dipped, and all of that. Like, for the fact that there still is that uniformity and all of those other things, it's really, really great still what they were able to manage. What they were able to manage to do. Is that English? No, I don't think so.
That is English. I think maybe just the word structure was a bit.
Yeah,
it's a bit dodgy, but yeah.
No, 8 out of 10 is fair. It's fair.
Yeah, for me, because I'm obviously not a Gorillaz fan, like not a huge Gorillaz fan, but I think this is probably, and I really didn't expect to like this album. I was like, it's gonna suck, but like it exceeded my expectations quite a lot than just voice. But yeah, and then so the last question I want to ask you is, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I feel like people have lost, like Gorillaz have lost a little bit of their fan base. Like I struggle to listen to their new songs. Like I don't think there's been a Gorillaz song that I've heard since this album that I've been able to listen to. So and you as well, right? You haven't been listening to new Gorillaz songs, especially past this album. Let's look past this album, right? It's just like after Humanz. What do you think Gorillaz should do to regain that fan base, that, you know, the people that fell in love with Demon Days and even this?
So, because there are very many gaps that I have to fill in, what I'd like to say is that I think people who may have done what I've done and have held on to for their life, the album of their childhood, the soundtrack of their childhood, should explore the rest of their discography. And I think really appreciate concept art, concept albums. I think it might be easier to enjoy Gorillaz. And I think for them, perhaps what they could do, and maybe I'll be able to, have a more informed understanding of what I'm about to say, because there are still a lot of gaps that I have to fill in terms of discography, but really not forcing features, because I cannot fault a single feature on Humanz. Like I cannot. It is bewildering how exceptional every single person is. So I think that's what they could do. So I'm hoping that when I listen to Song Machine and everything, I'm able to experience what I've experienced with Humanz. If not, I am still open to understanding what they're doing, because, these are my peoples. I feel like they raised me.
I get you.
He's my father.
It's your father. This one is so strange.
Damon's, wow.
I hope Damon listens to this. It's like, Damon, you have a daughter in South Africa.
He raised me.
Wow. I've never heard that, eh? But I think women have. I think it's a very woman thing to say, right? Where they say an artist raised them, because women are very emotional with music.
No, a lot of people actually say that kind of
people.
thing. Like they grew up on a specific sound, and I want to experience the rest of Gorillaz so that I don't have my essence based on Demon Days. It must be based on Gorillaz, in its entirety.
Because you end up comparing things too much when you like.
Exactly.
It's like it's different Demon Days, whatever. So, and I think but I think with me, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's the features, eh? Like don't force features, eh? Don't force them. Let them be organic and really be. And I think a lot of artists are not. But there's obviously the whole politics, and there's a business side where, record labels tell you need to feature this guy because he's popping and whatever. We even spoke about this issue in another podcast where, like Burna Boy in his album, he featured American artists because they were American, but like they didn't add anything to the song. They just featured them because they are well known. And I think, especially because Damon's obviously a very good conductor, right? And I think maybe lately he's been releasing a lot of music lately. I don't know if you've noticed. It's like with Song Machine, they were releasing almost a song a week.
I think they released something. Didn't they release something? Not last week or 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago, like very, very recent. Like stuff on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, they keep releasing like stuff. There's like a
Visual stuff as well. There's stuff up, yeah.
yeah, they releasing he's releasing like a lot of music lately. Because I think after this album he's had like probably like 3 albums, maybe 2-3 albums. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and I think he needs to sit down and be honest, and like if an artist feature sucks, like tell him it sucks, man. Try better, or get someone else, or just like yeah, just be honest, man. Because a lot of people sometimes when you feature them, they don't give their best.
And the thing about it is with these people and just how industry stuff goes, from what I've seen, is that some people really vibe on a personal level. And there's this thing of, hey, let's actually get into studio. Maybe we can do something. And outside of each other, they're really, really together. Might not be. So maybe sometimes it's like the experience of doing something together and not so much the output or the outcome or result of what you put together. Maybe, yeah, and maybe for them that also holds sentiment, but also maybe they kind of like it. And for the rest of us, it's garbage. And it'd be like that.
Yeah, it's true. No, but I think even Daniel Caesar especially is quite interesting, and I think he only makes features of people who are his friends, right? People he knows very well. Because I think with him, he's obviously very picky with his art and stuff. So I think he feels like he has to be completely honest with someone if he's gonna make a song with them, right? And I think with some artists, obviously some artists like, you can't tell a Drake. You can, but like, obviously he's gonna look at you as like
you can, Drake. I mean, like on which level of familiarity
do you have? Yeah, to tell a Drake like your verse wasn't that good, man. Like he's gonna look at you. Nah, man, I have.
It was garbage.
He'll tell you, nah, I have like 10 billion streams on Spotify, multi-Grammy award winning. What have you done? And people, their egos can sort of attack. So it's a very ego-based thing, and it's hard. It takes time, and I think that's the thing that's quite obvious with Gorillaz right now. Maybe they're not taking the time with the music because they're releasing so much. So I think if they take the time and just focus on conducting, and the music will definitely.
That's true. Yeah. But one thing that we must always understand, especially ourselves as creators, is that sometimes creating is the job that has to be done. And creating might not be the magnum opus, or these projects rather might not be the magnum opus, but something will come up that might be, the fucking holy grail. Am I allowed to swear here?
Yeah, you can swear.
But other things might not be, and we understand it because we hold things inside and we have these ideas and we have to express them. Maybe there are other things that also contribute to him having to release music. Maybe he signed some stuff and he has to release music regardless, and some of that might not be the best stuff. So, that's a consideration really that we can make.
Yeah, the business side of
the fact that the business side of it, also the fact that sometimes as creators, cultural workers, we just have to do work.
Yeah. Otherwise, we don't pay the bills.
Exactly.
We won't let you create for 5 years or.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's true.
But it's also burdensome. One last thing is that it is burdensome to hold on to so much and to not release it. Because some people, we think that people who haven't released in a very long time have no music, they're doing nothing. People are constantly working, they're constantly recording.
Yeah, they're constantly.
They have so much music. The rapper Russ? Russ has thousands of songs. Fortunately for some people, unfortunately for others. I don't like his music. But he has a lot of music.
That he hasn't released.
No, he has. And that's one thing that he has said. He has put out so much because sometimes you have these songs, you just have to put them out.
Yeah. And I think now, especially with like artists are getting more freedom, there's more independent artists. And I think back in the day, it was like record labels like, no, you have to release 3 singles and an album. You can't just be releasing songs sporadically. And I think now, especially with streaming, right, where like each song it's a commercial value, so you can just release anything, you know. Like back in the day, like you couldn't release like a single because, you know, a song had to be in an album, had to be in a package. It couldn't be like just one like
isolated
single.
thing.
So yeah, so things are changing quite a lot. So just have to look at those landscapes. But we're hoping that, you know, the music doesn't. They can come back. Hopefully, they can come back.
Hopefully.
But thank you, Mondeski, for joining me on my final podcast of reviewing Gorillaz. I think we ended it on quite a dope note. This album was great. The review was great, and yeah, and hopefully there will be a season 2. And then yeah, I think that's a great song to end the
That's actually
Podcast.
I'm gonna listen to that. I'm gonna listen to Humanz from Circle of Friends going all the way up. Ready for my journey to space.
Yeah, but it's so visual. I love that about it. It's quite a visual. But thank you, Nat. Thank you for joining me. And
thank you. I really appreciate you being here. Always.
It's a pleasure. Peace. So I hope everyone enjoyed the podcast and enjoyed the final review of the show. We tried making it short, but it was very hard to make it short. But I hope it was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Won't be a next week. It's the final podcast. And thank you so much. And we ended off with Rosalia and now this Humanz Gorillaz album. And yeah, we'll see if it will be a season 2, if they won't. But for now, there isn't. But meanwhile, I'd just like to thank everyone, absolutely everyone who has tuned in for the podcast. And and got to listen to our show. And I hope you guys kept enjoying. And stay awesome, stay fresh. And I will see you guys. Thank you. Peace.